to show more thanks during their life. Each week we have guests that recall, circumstances, people, memories that have humbled them, that helps them reflect and grow through the act of gratitude. And so that's the show that we do every single Monday. And again, guys, about shows, speaking of shows, if you get an opportunity, please try to support a lot of the people doing shows on the app. There's a lot of amazing content creators. There's a lot of amazing shows. There's dancing shows. There's gratitude. There's dating shows. There's cooking shows, exercise shows. There's all kinds of amazing things on the app. So if you get an opportunity, please be sure to check out these people that put in a lot of time, energy, and effort every single week. So definitely try to do that. We always try to start the show, guys, with an amazing quote. And this week's quote is this: I have three precious things which I hold fast and prize. The first is gentleness. The second, frugality. The third is humility, which keeps me from putting myself before others. Be gentle and you can be bold. Be frugal and you can be liberal. Avoid putting yourself before others and you can become a leader among men. Let me read that one more time, guys. I have three precious things which I hold fast and prize. The first is gentleness. The second, frugality. The third is humility, which keeps me from putting myself before others. Be gentle and you can be bold. Be frugal and you can be liberal. Avoid putting yourself before others and you can become a leader among men. So guys, that's an amazing quote. That's certainly the mode that we want to set for tonight. So again, thank you so much for being here. We like to recap last week's topic of compassion. And at this time, I want to welcome an amazing person I'm going to give an amazing introduction to. At this time, please request a box, Miss Katie B. Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor and a privilege to have you on the show. I know that you're a very busy woman, so I just wanted to personally thank you for taking the time to be here. I really, really appreciate that.
I'm really happy to be here, so thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Hello, everybody. I know a lot of you are Smileverse members and everyone who I haven't met yet who are regulars in Jamison's chat. Hello. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, everybody.
And guys, for anybody that is not familiar with her, her name's Katie B. I'll obviously let her continue to share some of her stuff, but she has an amazing show on the app just to kind of touch on some important things in her life. And at the time, if you want to just kind of introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Katie B. I am a streamer. I'm a top badge here on Meet Me and on Tagged. I am an actress. I am a former 76ers dancer. I have my show on the app is called Gotta Dance. It's every Thursday night at 7 p.m. where I teach different kinds of choreography every week. Because I guess dance is sort of my one of my passions and my forte, but I am very multi-passionate. So if you come to my stream, you'll see a lot of different types of content. You'll see makeup. You'll get a lot of nerd talks because I really love DC, Marvel, Harry Potter, Star Wars, a lot of fantasy stuff. We do dance as well, even when it's not the dancing show. I've been known to break into dance and bust into dance at any given time. We play a lot of games, go on field trips, all sorts of different things. And you'll receive a lot of love-a-raid.
Yes.
And, gratitude is very important to me and very much a part of like my love-a-raid sort of life philosophy. So this is like a great show for me to be a part of. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here, guys. And I don't know if you caught what she said, but she is a fellow top badge on Meet Me and Tagged. So just to kind of toot her horn a little bit, out of the thousands and thousands of people that are a top badge on Meet Me and the thousands and thousands of people that are a top badge on Tag, she is, I think, the only person that is a top badge on both apps. So that certainly just speaks to her character as a person, her ability to connect with people, her honestly to just, like she said, be very grateful for that opportunity because, like I said, she is the only person that I know that does that. She also, like she said, a former NBA dancer. Think of all the thousands and thousands of people in the world that would love to have that job, that would have the opportunity to be able to entertain on that level in such a professional way. You know, it's amazing. It's certainly very rare, and it certainly says certainly a lot about her as a person. So just kind of wanted to just plug that for you.
Definitely a unique and really special performance. Not only the performing, but a lot of the public appearances and connecting a lot of times with fans and kids. A lot of young girls look up to us. So that was also a big part of it for me.
Yeah. Well, hats off to you. I mean, that's certainly an amazing career in real life, and even a more amazing career on an app. I'm certainly like I said, I don't know of anybody else that has a top badge on two amazing apps. And for you to be able to do that certainly is an amazing accomplishment. So
thank you so much. There did used to be a lot of people that had both, and not anymore. So it wasn't that it was impossible to get both. I know a lot of people did have them. I think it went out of style a lot when the quotas came in. I think most people were like, it's just too hard to keep both quotas. So
well, for you to have the drive,
but I'm still doing it. I'm still here in Meet Me, and I'm still with my tagged family. So
you really are. As we get into the topic of last week, just to kind of recap on that, when you think about compassion, when you think about just that word within itself, what really resonates with you? What really hits with you as far as what that word really means?
Compassion means so much to me, specifically because, and when you mentioned it, I felt like more connected to that than all the other topics that we had gone through, even though I felt like I could have talked about any of the things that you brought up. Compassion to me is so important because when I talk about Lover Aid, and for those of you who don't know what Lover Aid is, the basic concept is just the opposite of haterade, right? So like, it's so simple and so easy to think of that. Lover Aid, yeah, just like it would be like spelled with like Gatorade or haterade. Because the idea of haterade, and I feel like became so popular, and it's about not having compassion for people. It's about, not wondering what someone's situation is, placing blame or gossip or, negative energy or toxic conversations about, mostly about other people, and sometimes I guess towards themselves.
Yeah.
And to me, that was like so important that I remember thinking like we had kind of come up with Lover Aid as like a silly thing. And I remember Googling, because I wanted to know I was like, oh, that's kind of catchy. Let me look. So I looked haterade. If you put haterade in Google, you get like millions and millions and millions and millions of hits. I put Lover Aid in, and again, it's like simple. It's like a little twist on an obvious word. There was nothing. And this was like probably 15 years ago now. Not a single thing came. I'm like, how is that possible? It's not like a really original idea. It's just a word play on haterade. And so that made me be like, oh, I want to bring that. I want to bring that love. I want to bring that compassion. I want to bring that in a bigger way, not just working on myself, because I was doing a lot of that at the time, a lot of like self-help, a lot of self-teachings, but really not only treating people that way, but also encouraging other people to treat people that way as well.
Right.
So it's really at the very heart of what I preach and talk about on a daily basis, and have been doing for, like I said, at least 15 years now. So it just means a lot to me.
Yeah. I think it's important, especially like you said with the Love Aid and that being such a unique, term to what you certainly tried to coin. I think a lot of times with compassion, you don't necessarily have to know what someone's going through, but you can be compassionate to that. You may not be able to say that you can walk in their shoes. You may not be able to say that you understand what they have, like I said, going on, but you can be compassionate to that. I think it's certainly important to have those kind of ideas, those morals and values to be able to respect somebody else, because, a lot of people can be in tough situations. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that there's not a whole lot of separation between what particular situation someone may be in and where we're at. There's not much difference between the two. I mean, you could have had a life-altering situation go one way and go somewhere else for someone else. And so that's why I think personally, for me anyway, compassion is extremely important, because, that's what certainly just separates, you being, in my opinion, a great human being as opposed to someone that's extremely selfish.
Yeah. And I think that it's important to know that we never know.
Right.
Like anybody could be going through anything at any time. And another thing that I think it's important is not to be doing the like, I forget what the word was for it, but like the like who's suffering the most Olympics. Like people can suffer in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like one person, like I think a lot of people would be like, well, you know, we should all be grateful for what we have and where we are and the experiences we have, and for even the most basic things like, you know, shelter and food. But it's important to know that just because somebody has suffered in one way, you can still suffer. People can suffer in different ways. Like someone who's lost a loved one is going to suffer in one way, but that doesn't mean that if you lost your job and you're upset about it, that you're not still suffering. Is it as tough as that? No, but it doesn't mean you're not still suffering. And people, suffer and grieve in different ways about different things at different points in their life.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the things that's important to keep in mind. Like it's not a competition to see who has suffered the most.
Wow.
You know, just because someone's suffering a different way doesn't mean that your suffering is not valid. Yes.
What a great attitude that is. Guys, if you're new to the show, this is what we do every single Monday night, Gratitude, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This is a show that we try to talk about, you know, finding, you know, people that give more thanks during their life. You know, we would call circumstances, people, and memories that have humbled people like Katie and to help them reflect and grow through the act of gratitude. And she's certainly talking tonight about compassion and how important that is to her and her life, and certainly a walk that she's had every single day. And, you know, she made a great term, a great coin phrase of that love aid. I just, that sticks out to me. You know, when you see that, when you look at that word, when you hear that word, it's like, man, it's like, it just makes your heart go out for other people. You know, it makes you not want to be such a selfish person. You know what I mean?
And it came at like a very transformational time for me. I was going through like a really bad breakup at the time. And I always was kind of a positive person, but It was really when I was going through that. And that's kind of when the love read thing kind of came about. And again, I was doing a lot of self-help things and reading like some Buddhist writings and some Gabrielle Bernstein and all that kind of stuff. But it really, it was a different level. It went from, you know, being kind of a positive person, but then really trying to like change my, and this is going to be like a little bit granola, but change like my energy as far as like trying to not like use negative words all the time, like trying to make sure if I, you know, not be gossiping about other people, being kind to people, even if they weren't kind to me. Like it just became like a whole extra level, but it was all about not just being a positive person, but really like walking the walk, kind of like you were saying, and like really like trying to raise my energy level and hope to also attract those things back to me.
Yeah, I think it's important. I mean, because like you said, if in order for people to believe what you're saying, you have to practice what you preach.
Yeah.
I've always been a firm believer in that. I'm not saying that everybody's perfect. I'm not saying that everybody is going to have an amazing days every single day, but you know, all that stuff works together, you know, being grateful, being compassionate for other people, trying to look at the glass as half full and not half empty, I think are certainly important tools that you try to incorporate in your life every single day, in order to make yourself be a great person. And I think that when you're able to translate that into your everyday life, I think that people can look at that and they're like, wow, like that's the energy, that's the focus, that's the kind of person that I want to be around a lot. Because, you know, they can see that, they can feel the energy. Like you said, I don't think it's granola at all. I mean, because like I said, if you put off great energy, if you put off great vibes, people resonate to that. People see that. People are grateful for that and appreciative of the fact that you're trying to be the best version of yourself in a way that other people can certainly, you know, understand and comprehend.
Yeah. And you're going to slip up. Like, that's just the nature. Like, also knowing that, again, we're all human and we're going to have days where we're not going to get it right.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just have to keep moving on. We used to use this little trick, and I would encourage anyone to use it, and you could use it in your own way. But when we were really focused on, you know, raising that energy, we had something that, you know, so I was using the term loverate a lot. And what would happen would we'd be in casual conversation, and then someone would say something like, oh, so and so is such a whatever, she's such a beach, blah 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 blah, or just start talking negatively about something else, like, oh, I hate those, oh, I am not a fan, like that. So what we would do is, if we would catch ourselves being negative or speaking harshly about someone else, we would say L, which is just supposed to be L for loverade, just short for that. And it was helping to transform that, like Jay was saying in the comments, it's like a habit. So we just say L, we'd be like, oh, like, you just catch yourself. Yeah, it's about training your brain. So even though we couldn't stop ourselves necessarily from, sometimes saying something that maybe wasn't so kind or wasn't so, or was just like negative, we would catch ourselves. And I found that to be shockingly powerful.
Right.
Because you start seeing, in the beginning, you might start seeing that you're actually talking more ish than you thought you were. Or like,
Absolutely.
you're talking about people more than, you're like, oh, I'm a positive person, but here I am, talking about other people and not giving them the benefit of the doubt. Or like I said, like using really negative or hateful, just like words have energy too. And it really helped me to take a step back and become more compassionate by noticing when I was like not hitting it. And I still say L, like it still happens. Like
but like you said, it's a process. It's a repetitive thing in a good way that you want to incorporate into your own life, to kind of look and take a step back and say, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. I might need to just fix this a little bit, and provide that good energy and good momentum and good atmosphere for yourself and then other people. Because, like I was saying, when you have the compassion, when you have the ability to be mindful of others, is certainly important, and people want to be around someone like that, because I think every single day, especially for my life, when you're compassionate, when you're understanding, when you have the ability to recognize that people can be in tough places and tough times, you may not be able to fix that, but you can certainly keep those people in your thoughts and your ideas, prayers, whatever the case be called for people.
Say stuff. Like you have the situations where someone says something on Facebook, right. And people want to go and attack. Like sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. I mean, I was always raised, for my family, especially, that if you didn't have anything nice to say, then maybe you don't need to say anything at all. And sometimes that is hard to do that, clearly. But, if you can get the right mindset for that, like sometimes if you maybe hear someone talk about someone in a negative way and say, well, this person has all this, crap about them, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to give people the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes you have to look at that person and say, well, you know what? I know that person personally. They also have a lot of good qualities and characteristics as well. So, and I think that that's certainly a great attitude to have for anybody, in any walk of life.
Yeah, I've been in that situation, and I would say, oh, I'm sorry that that's been your experience, but they've never been anything but nice to me. You can sort of edge yourself. I think it's important to maybe not. We do a lot of bonding through gossip, right? That's how people connect a lot of the time. A similar dislike for someone or someone else, and I think it's another thing about training yourself is about not feeding that, like not. Just it's comforting. It's easy to vibe or to bond with somebody off of not liking someone else, and it's just one of those steps is like not taking the bait, I guess.
Completely agree. Because when you start heading down that road, when you start to create that monster of the gossip and the bad energy, it's hard to bring that in, because it's just become this whole entity within itself, and it's hard to really put a lid on that when you've created that. And so, like you said, I think it's important to have the attitude of the loverade. I mean, I think that is just a wonderful thing that anybody can encompass in their own life, is that attitude that you have, and certainly what you try to bring to your own streams. I mean, it certainly shows as to why you're a top badge on 2 apps, because if you have that kind of attitude and that kind of mentality with people, that they see that, they resonate with that, they want to be around someone every day that goes live that has that right attitude. It certainly speaks volumes for what you're trying to do in your own personal life.
And on my stream, we focus mostly on just being happy and being silly, but occasionally we do get into like the deeper talks. A lot of the things I've mentioned tonight, we have covered in the stream at some point. Mostly it's just trying to keep it light and fun, but we have covered a lot of probably every topic that we just around compassion in some way or another throughout the years. The other thing that really stuck out to me was it's similar to your what people say about if you don't have anything nice to say, not say anything at all. There's a Buddhist saying that something has to pass through 3 windows before you should say it. I'm not sure if you've heard this before.
I have not.
One is it true? Okay, so that's the first one. That's very obvious, right? We don't want to lie about people.
Sure.
So it's very like that's an obvious one. But the next ones are more interesting. The next one is it kind? So like there's a lot of truth that may not be kind, that maybe you don't necessarily have to say, you don't have to tell someone else. And the third one is it necessary? And I think that one's really interesting because again, like maybe there are some hard truths that you do have to tell sometimes if someone's getting cheated on, if somebody, like there are hard truths that need to be told, but there's a lot of truths that don't necessarily, like if you have having compassion for someone, it's not necessarily your place to speak out about it or speak about it. So is it true? Or I don't know if it's that order. It might say, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Yeah. And I love that. I felt like I was able to use that in a lot of situations, again, when I was still like growing. And I was like, that really puts things in a better perspective because all the people I know would just be like, oh, is it true? If it's true, I'm going to go say it. And not really, again, thinking about what is the bigger story? Is there something else, going on there? Like, some people have been through trauma and people would discuss it in sort of frivolous ways. And I don't know, I've remembered that and used that and stuck with that for years and years and years and years and years. And I feel like it really doesn't fail. If something can go through those three windows, then you're good to go.
Yeah. I think for me, being a very compassionate person, I think when you see certain situations in people's lives where maybe you might know an outcome or maybe you know how a situation can fall, it's kind of like if you see an oven on, it's like, don't put your finger on that. You're going to get burned. But sometimes you have to allow people and have the compassion for people to let them handle their own situation, let them go through their own trial and tribulation. Even if you know that that's a bad situation, maybe they don't need to hang around with this kind of crowd. Maybe they don't need to date her. Maybe they probably shouldn't date him or something like that. You may have concerns and you may have compassion for people, but you have to sometimes let a lot of people figure that kind of stuff out on their own.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good to know, like when it's, there is a time when it might be hard to step up and say something for something that is necessary or something, maybe it's involving children, like something that there's a reason for it. And other times it's just not necessary. And like you said, like there can be things you don't like that it's really not your place to try and fix for someone else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that can be your compassion. And yeah, I think a lot of times if a girl, for instance, an example, if a girl's dating someone and everyone's like, oh, we don't like him, as long as he's not, again, if things are more serious and there's something violent going on, then that's the hard truth where you have to step in. But if it's just that you don't like him or you think he's bad or you think blah, 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 I think that's one of those things where you have to have compassion for that person. They've picked that person, and compassion that if it ends up not working out, you still care and have compassion for that friend instead of being like, I told you so,
Exactly.
like there.
And then when it doesn't work out, that's when you step in and have the compassion and be a great friend for someone when it doesn't work out.
Yeah. And someone said it earlier. I think what a big part of compassion is just listening to people.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes
I think
it's not about.
You can learn a lot when you listen. You can learn a lot when you listen for people and you just pay attention to what people are saying. So yeah, it's certainly important. Wow, what a great conversation. What a great topic to have with you. Anything you'd like to add, anything that you'd like to leave with people, just to kind of, just encourage the rest of their wonderful evening.
Yeah, I think we're at a time that is particularly divisive, and it can be very hard to have compassion for people that you don't necessarily see eye to eye with. But I think it's in some ways it makes it that much more necessary. So for the people that have the ability, you know, to grow and to take on that, I think as many people, everybody doesn't have that. Everybody hasn't reached that point, you know, and everyone gets there in different ways. Someone might work out and feel like they get really focused and really positive. Someone else might be meditating. Somebody else might go through a breakup. Somebody else might, you know, like, I don't know. There's all sorts of ways that you can come to this place of sort of like wanting and caring to do better, right. You know? And I just think it's, if you're at that place and you're ready to really try and I'm not saying preach it to other people. I'm just saying to do your best to be part of the change, as they say, be the change you wish to see in the world. And I do that. And I'll do that especially with even political things. I'm a very political person, but I really don't talk about it in my streams because for me, it's just much more about connecting people. And I want people from different backgrounds to have that opportunity to connect in a safe space. So again, that's not saying about who I am outside of my stream, but I think that if we can connect more, we'll see that we have a lot more things in common than not. And so I urge all of you to take that compassion, not only to your friends, not only to the other live streamers, into your family, into every sort of piece in your life that you can. And if you can't have compassion, then like Jamison said, maybe just close your mouth and and take a lap and take some deep breaths. And if you haven't gotten there yet, and you're maybe this is your sign to start your journey.
Hey, nothing wrong with change. We do it every day. Sometimes it's tough, sometimes it's rough, but hey, change is always welcome in life for sure. Katie,
thank you so much.
Such a pleasure for being here. Thank you so much, guys. Again, please favorite this amazing person. She also, like I said earlier in the show, she has a show every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. It's called Got to Dance with Katie B. If you're really into really fun, awesome dance choreography, all kinds of fun stuff, positive energy. You see how she already is right now. That's why she's top badge on 2 apps. Please hit her with that favorite. And again, it's such a pleasure to have you tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys, everyone in the chat also. It was great to see your comments. And today, I am grateful for Jamison and his show. So thank you very much. Guys, we're always serving up smiles, sharing silliness, and sipping on that Loverade in the Smileverse. So, you know, don't be a stranger. And I'll be here in the chat watching the rest of the show, Jamison. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Wow, guys, please hit her with that favorite. Such an amazing, down-to-earth person. She's great. Certainly glad to have her on the show. She's just an amazing person. Again, guys, if you're new to the show, it's called Gratitude. It's a show about finding people who wish to show more thanks during their life. This is a show that we do every single Monday night, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Each week we have guests that recall circumstances, people, and memories that have humbled them to help them reflect and grow through the act of gratitude. And that was us talking to, Katie about compassion and how important that was for her. So we're going to switch gears, guys, to this week's topic. This week's new topic is humility. And I wanted to certainly welcome a really good friend of mine to the box at this time. Certainly someone that I've known for a long time, both on and off the app, Miss Sunshine and Sass. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I've enjoyed the show so far. Katie, you did amazing. Thank you, Rebel. Thank you so much for having me, Jamison.
Well, again, thank you so much for being here. As I was saying earlier, just to give you an introduction to, you're certainly someone I've known for a long time, that I talk to both on and off the app. We've always had a really awesome, great friendship, and I think it's certainly important to have that.
Wow.
Do what?
I said, don't let the newbie account fool you. I've been here a while.
No, because guys, she's been on the app for a while too. She certainly knows what she's doing, but sometimes we all have to have a reset button and kind of step back a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with change, like we were saying with Katie. So just for anybody that's not familiar with you, if you want to kind of just introduce yourself, welcome yourself.
Yeah, I'm Sunshine of Sass. I have been a streamer on the app since last March. I took a couple months off last year, came back, streamed some more, was doing really well. And then in January decided that I really just needed to step away and step back. I actually deleted my whole Black VIP account. But it's what I needed, and I took a 3-month reset and just came back a few weeks ago and decided to come back on here and just kind of, I guess, pace myself. I'm just at a different place in life now, so I'm back.
Well, it's certainly nice to have you back, and thank you so much for being on. You know, when you first came back, you know, we didn't see you on for a long time, but when you first came back, you were certainly someone that I honestly wanted to have on the show because we've had such a great friendship off the app, and I thought that you would just be a perfect fit, you know, for what we're trying to do over here. So again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, being a great person and a great mom and all that good stuff, and being here for me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you've been an amazing friend. For those that don't know, I am a single mom to an amazing, super, hyper wonderful 4-year-old little boy, and I'm a social worker. So gratitude, all the good big feelings are exactly right up my alley. So gratitude, compassion, humility, all of those things, it's what I do. Thank you, guys.
Well, it's certainly great qualities and characteristics that are really hard to find these day and age in people. So yeah, we certainly appreciate what you do. When you think about humility, when you think about that word, what really jumps at you? What really stands out when you hear, you know, that phrase?
Humility for me is about remaining humble, no matter what you have, no matter what you've worked for, what's been given to you, what you've come into, whatever it is. I've seen with my very own eyes that you can go from one situation in life to a drastic different situation with little to no warning, period. You can go from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs like that, but you can also get knocked down like that, and it can happen to anyone. As a social worker, I've even recently worked with 2 different patients that were in their 30s that had everything going for them, and all of a sudden one day they had a stroke and became completely total care patients where they couldn't do anything for themselves, not even eat, and went from being married with 4 kids and living life to, you know, be in total care and having someone change them in their bed, all because they're just doing their thing one day and they had a stroke. And so no matter where you are, no matter how hard you've worked, and I've worked extremely hard to get to where I am right now, and I've personally had it all taken away in an instant and had to work hard to get right back here. So humility is about just remembering that it can all change tomorrow with no say from you. So remember what you have right where you have it, and be that for someone else. So as a young kid, someone was going over quotes one time, and they're like, "What's your favorite quote? What's your favorite quote?" I was like, "I don't have one." And someone said theirs, and from that moment, it has just stuck with me to never ever look down on someone else where they are, unless it's because you're offering them a hand up. When someone's hanging down, and you want a hand, you're offering them this hand, you're pulling them up. That's the only time you should look down on someone else, because truthfully, any other time, it can be all taken from you.
Yeah. I think, you know, in my own personal life, you know, people tell you on a stream every day, they say, "Wow, you're such a humble guy. You're such a genuine guy." And, you know, even though you hear that a lot, it never loses its meaning, because it's certainly a humbling thing to know that people have that opinion of you, or at least what they see on you on a screen. To have that opinion of you is certainly amazing. And
You froze for me.
you don't necessarily know what life can throw you. You know, certainly, like the saying goes, you know, when life hands you lemons, you know, you don't know what you can do with that. And sometimes you're not ready for that. And so if you can stay humble, if you can understand that life can change just like that, and it continue to keep you grounded, it can continue to help you be the best version of yourself. And like you said, for other people, and it kind of all goes together, you know, compassion and humility for people. If you see someone down, you need to lift them up. If you see that someone's in a tough situation, you have to be there for them in the best way possible. You may not have all the answers. You may not be able to have the solutions to everything that's going on in their life or yours, but you can be humble and you can be compassionate enough to be there for people when they need you the most.
Absolutely. And I'm a social worker, so that's what I do. I've worked in the field of social work. I've worked everywhere from child welfare to community resources to mental health treatment. I'm currently working in a psychiatric hospital. This is what I do. And so often you see people who others would look over or write them off, and you have no idea what got them to the place that they're in. And a lot of times people say, oh, they did that to themselves. Well, you know what? Sometimes their life circumstances are a direct result of their decisions. But you know what? We're all one bad decision from being right there too.
Right.
Like we can absolutely make a bad decision. I'll share a little bit. Those that know me in my stream know that I've been through a lot, especially in the last couple of years. I have been the victim of domestic violence. I've gone through a divorce. I've been through a lot. But what I really want to share about is something that those who know me know about, but I was in a horrible car accident in September of 2019. It was after my divorce. I was a single mom. I had just finished school, got my master's. I had just gone back to work after getting my master's. I was literally feeling on top of the world. I had just left the meeting at work. I'm driving down the interstate. The sun is shining. And I was actually thinking to myself, man, finally, all the pieces of life are falling back into place. This is what I've worked for. I had a great job. I had a second job offer coming in. I was able to provide for me and my son and just everything. I was really just thinking life is finally coming back together. And I had worked really hard to get to that point.
Right.
And I was literally hit by a truck, by an 18-wheeler. Had a blowout next to me, ran me off the road into oncoming traffic on the other side of the interstate. Both two 18-wheelers hit head on. My car's flipped over in the middle. I'm in the middle of a huge fire and knocked unconscious, wake up to find this. 2 men died in the car accident. And I crawled out the window of my car and was airlifted off the interstate. I went from working so hard to finish my master's degree, to get a job, to be independent and able to care for my son without the help of my deadbeat ex. And feeling like, man, I got this. I'm good. Life is good. I did this. And feeling so good. And I had every right to feel that way. But it was like, God was like, don't get ahead of yourself. And I got hit by a truck. I had a brain injury. I'd have 2 knee surgeries. I was out of work for a whole year. Those who saw me stream, I was on here with like leads on my head for a EKG or an EEG. I'm sorry. It was a really, really, thank you. It was a really, really rough year. And it was so humbling because here I was completely unemployed, reliant on my attorney for the car accident to pay my bills, because I was not allowed to work, depressed with PTSD and just going through it. And that's when I found the app, when I made a lot of connections because it's what I needed. But I was just taken from here where I'd worked every bit to get there. And I was just knocked down to here. Like, you still got some growing to do. You still have some things that need to get handled. So that happens to anybody.
Yeah. I think in my own life, I personally was there myself where I wasn't, in a car accident like you were. And I'm just very glad and thankful that you're still here. But, in my own personal life, I went through divorce and you feel like you're on top of the world and you feel like everything's just hunky-dory and butterflies and clouds in the sky. And then all of a sudden you're hit with that, and your life changes. Your life goes in a completely different direction than what you maybe saw the future being.
Yeah.
And it was obviously in a very different way than what you experienced, but the principle was still the same where, you're right here. And all of a sudden you're right here and you have to kind of pick the pieces back up and start over. And as you go through that process of being broken, as you go through the process of having to struggle with everyday life, that's when the humbleness, That's when the humility, that's when all the important characteristics and features and qualities in life that most people should have, that's when it comes into play. That's when you have to pull in those lifelines and say, look, this is where I'm at. This is where I was. I want to get back to that version of myself and also be better. But in order to do that, you have to be humble. You have to be able to see yourself in a better light, to know that you're still a great person, even if your life fell apart, and to be able to dust yourself off, pick yourself back up, and get back in a different position.
And I think it's also a key component of humility is gratitude. Mm-hmm. To remain humble, I found that I needed to be grateful for what I had going for me right then and there. I could have focused on all of the things that were not anymore. I ended up having to sell my house, move into a rental place. I had a brand new vehicle. I was driving a brand new fully loaded Toyota Highlander, and now I drive a beater because I wasn't working for a year. It's not like I could go get a car loan or something, you know? Right. So to just be grateful for what I had right there. I could focus on all the negativities, all the things that were taken from me, all the opportunities that were taken from me and my son. And, you know, I was so upset about, you know, these are the key formative years of his life. And here I am dealing with, you know, PTSD and depression and surgeries and all this stuff. And what am I overlooking for him? I could focus on that, or I could focus on, I'm able to stay home with him and spend more time with him because I can't work right now. I'm still provided for. I still have a vehicle. I still have so
Can you still hear me?
Now I can hear you. You were freezing.
Okay. Yeah, we lost connection there for a second. But no, like you were saying, yes, I heard what you were saying about. Are we good now?
I'm good. I can see you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can hear you great too. Okay, good. We know how internet can be. But yeah, like you said, I mean, you're back at home. That perspective of not being able to have a job and stuff. But like you said, you focus back on, hey, I'm trying to take care of my son. I'm trying to be the best mom that I can be for him. I'm trying to set the example. I'm trying to set the tone. And that's where the humbleness and the humility come into play, I think, especially.
And I want to say one quick thing. I don't know if Katie's still in here, but one of the things that she said to me reminded me of something that I tell my clients sometimes. You know, so many times people say, hey, just, you know, so there's other people that have it worse. There's other people that have it worse. There's other people that have it worse. And while it's important to remember that, and that helps you with staying humble, like remember that other people do have it worse, it doesn't take away from your right and ability to grieve what's going on with you too. So I was once treating the client of mine who said, my family, I try to talk about how the way I'm feeling with my family, and all they tell me is to just be grateful that I don't have it worse like someone else does. And so I feel like I can't talk to them because I'm not allowed to be upset with where I am. And so I said to her, I said, listen to me. If I cut my finger off, completely cut it off, can you hear me still? Oh, you froze. If I cut my finger completely off, I would need medical care. I would be in incredible pain and I would need medical care, correct? She said, yeah, of course. I said, but then what if you happened upon the same saw that I just cut my finger off with and you cut your whole hand off? You would need medical care. You would be in a lot of pain, probably more than mine, probably need more medical care. But it doesn't mean I just sit down and don't need care anymore because you have it worse. We both need help. We're both in pain. We both need assistance. So just because the way that I'm feeling isn't the way that this person is feeling doesn't take away from the validity of it. I need to be able to be okay with where I am and what I'm experiencing and acknowledge what you're experiencing too. And it's okay for us to both need help. It's okay for us to both need to speak out about it. It doesn't take it just because this one is worse. It's not, we don't need to compare it. We're both hurt.
And to be able to be compassionate like that for people, you know, just to understand that, hey, look, we're all hurting right now, but we can look at each other and say, hey, look, you're struggling, I'm struggling. Let's help each other through this.
Absolutely.
You know, even like you said in the situation with the hand or your finger, let's go to rehab together.
Yeah.
Let's be there with each other and hold the good hand that we have with each other and say, hey, let's pull each other through what we're going through. In order to be able to not only just make yourself better and myself better, but ourselves better.
Yep.
And then it all works together, and then all starts to fall into place. All the pieces start to fit. The puzzle starts to see the bigger picture. And that is where, you know, like you said, it's extremely important to have that. Yeah. Anything that you'd like to say in closing, anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to leave people with tonight?
I think just two things. One, I just want to remind you again what I said about just never, ever look down on anyone else unless it's because you're offering them a hand up. Because otherwise, that could be you there tomorrow with no say or input for yourself. It could be you. But also, if you are in that low position and you're already feeling very humbled because you're like, this is the lowest that I've been, I don't know how to make improvements. I've been there. I have felt like the only thing that was keeping me on this planet was the fact that I have a son depending on me. That was my only reason for living at that time, because I just couldn't. I've been there.
Right.
Just know that as easily as things can change from good to bad, they can change from bad to good too.
Right.
Just if you're at the lowest of the low and you are humble and you feel like you can't be brought any lower, it's okay, because tomorrow things can get 1,000% better without you ever even expecting it.
Yeah. Man, so well said. I mean, wow, that's yeah. I don't even know how to rebuttal to that. That's just a perfect thing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule. Thank you so much for always being a great friend to me. Thank you for being there when I've needed someone to listen. I've been the same for you too. And it's certainly, like I said, it's an honor and privilege to have you on the show. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me. And Katie, you are amazing. I love hearing from you.
Yeah. All right, love. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye. Guys, what a show tonight. What two amazing people to have on the show. Like every single week, we had to try to have just great people on the show. If those two topics right there with two amazing people don't make you think about life, I don't know what you're doing. Humility, compassion, I think it all goes together. I think it's important to try to improve yourself. I think it's important to be the best version of yourself, and to be able to have these topics every single week to make people think, to make people react, to make people be grateful, and to reflect on, you know, the act of gratitude. I think is certainly important. And certainly I'm very grateful to be able to bring a show like this to the app, try to do something different in my own way. And I want to certainly thank you guys for supporting that each and every single week. Want to leave you with a quote one more time, guys, and we'll talk about next week's topic. Quote with this is this: I have three precious things which I hold fast and prize. The first is gentleness, the second, frugality, the third is humility, which keeps me from putting myself before others. Be gentle, and you can be bold. Be frugal, and you can be liberal. Avoid putting yourself before others, and you can become a leader among men. Let me read that one more time, guys. Wow. I have three precious things which I hold fast and prize. The first is gentleness, the second, frugality, the third is humility, which keeps me from putting myself before others. Be gentle, and you can be bold. Be frugal, and you can be liberal. Avoid putting yourself before others, and you can become a leader among men. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting what we're trying to do every single week. I'll leave you with next week's topic. Next week's topic, guys, is loyalty. That's what we're going to discuss next week. If you're ever interested in being on the show, please hit me up in my bio. There is a link to my Instagram. You can hit me up on Instagram. To be able to share every single week with an incredible audience, an incredible group of people. So yeah, please, like I said, hit me up with the fave, hit me up on Instagram, and we'll certainly be able to talk about that a little bit more in detail. So guys, that's the topic we're going to have next week is loyalty. I feel like that's certainly an important quality to have with people in your life. I think that when you are loyal to people, they appreciate that kind of stuff. I think when you're loyalty to your family, it certainly makes you a better person. And when people are loyal to you, it makes you have better relationships. So that's what we're going to get into, guys, next week's topic. Just want to thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope everybody has an incredible evening. I hope you have a wonderful and even better rest of your week. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate that. Ooh. Oh, guys, that's the show. Let me change my photo real quick. Thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate that. Man, hold on, guys. And now I can start commenting a little bit. Let me change my photo real quick since we're out of show mode. There we go. All right. Joel, Millie, you can start recording emoji. Playing, telling stuff. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. This is a show that we do every Monday. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for just listening in. I want to again thank Katie, Sunshine, and Sass for being two amazing guests. They certainly just absolutely killed it tonight. I'm just the host. They were the content, and I just am so glad that they were on the show. How's everybody's Monday been, guys? We are out of show mode. Monday night, about to get off here shortly. Hope everybody's had a wonderful day at work, whether you're booking hotels, airplanes, if you're cutting hair, if you work in a hospital, if you do whatever you can. Hope you're doing it to the best of your ability, and people appreciate that stuff. I hope everybody's had a great day. Man, what a show. Whew. Whew. Who's left with us? Leanne, what's up? I had an amazing day. Oh, Leanne, thank you. Appreciate that. I've had a fantastic day. Get ready for bed. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Just another day in paradise. Okay.
Take a seat right over there. Sat on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare, and I'm unaware of just how we got into this mess. Got so aggressive. I know we meant all good intentions. So pull me closer. Why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can't just let you go. Oh, baby. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? In the middle, baby. Why don't you just meet me in the middle? I'm losing my mind just
Yo, Nick, what's up, brother? East Coast, right? Thank you, Jen. Oh, thank you, thank you.
take a step back for a minute into the kitchen, floors are wet, and taps are still running, and dishes are broken. How did we get into this mess? Got so aggressive. I know we meant all good intentions. So pull me closer.
Plaid bow. Yo, daddy, what's up?